Hey, and welcome back to Emlyn in the Mix, Season 3, Episode 2, kicking the year off with a bang. Actually, I thought it was going to be quiet this time of the year, but there's so much news to get through. I actually had to cull some stories that I'm going to go through with you guys today. We've got a great show for you, and just on the back end of everything that's going on, there is some super exciting developments in the world of music technology. Now, if this is your first time for joining me, what is this podcast about? Well, if you didn't hit an intro, more or less we're going to talk about music news, music gear, studio recording, all of that jazz, music technology. You've come to the right place if you like that. For my regular listeners who enjoy coming back week to week, thank you for joining me again, and let's just get stuck straight into it because there's quite a lot to get through today. I hope you've had an awesome week, and I hope this podcast inspires you in some way to check some of the stuff out that we're going to check out today. Actually, we got some freebies, we do have some freebies today, so I'm excited to show you guys that one as well as we get to that. But let's kick off with our first piece of excellent news here, coming to us from our friends at Puremagnetik, and they've released this plugin called Ember. Now, Ember is a sophisticated microsound collage tool that employs granular resynthesis to configure complex sound composites. So it's inspired by music concrete pioneers of the past several decades. Ember harnesses modern digital algorithms with classic splicing techniques to create dense and evolving soundscapes. So you can point it at the folder of sounds, and Ember will generate a composite of granular textures that can later be used in your electronic composition processes. So if you like twisting and messing with sound and breaking it down into small pieces, this plugin is for you. This is more of an experimental plugin. That's why I'm kicking it off with the podcast today, but I thought it was definitely interesting. So just before I play back a little bit of an audio demo here for you, Ember employs granular resynthesis in a powerful C-sound sound programming language to explore a collage of sounds on the particle level, so breaking it down to small pieces more or less. And you can select a folder that contains the sound. This is really interesting. I know I just said this before, but you basically hit render, and Ember pulls the number of the sounds from that folder and selects a playback slice from each one. So if you had a folder of a bunch of samples that you wanted this plugin to basically play with, juggle the sounds, this is what it's going to do. So it then creates a granular composite of all the sounds together with various time stretching, density, and spatial algorithms. All right, if that isn't nerdy enough, if you haven't already just left the podcast because I just said a bunch of words, you have no idea what I said, well, let's just have a listen to Ember. This is pretty cool. This is pretty freaky effects. Here we go. Yeah, so I think you get the idea just listening there. If you're listening on the podcast, obviously if you're watching here on YouTube, we're just playing the video back, and it's more or less just giving us a dialogue of what this plugin actually does. But you get the idea of it's breaking down the pieces of audio into small fragments, and then you can sort of mess with it. And it's more, look, it is more of a trippy sort of sound design, experimental style plugin, but that is Ember from Puremagnetik. Check it out if that interests you. Next one, I told you we had some freebies at the start of this podcast, and this comes to us from Blue Cat Audio, which I don't think I've had a mention on the podcast yet. Blue Cat Audio do some great plugins. Definitely head over and check out bluecataudio.com. But you will probably want to check this out because these are free. We don't get to do freebies much on this podcast, so I was really happy to find this. This is a freebie pack, 100% free, and you get a bunch of little plugins in here. We're not going to go into the sounds of each one, but you should definitely recommend you check these out. So this bundle contains a wide range of premium modulation effects, has a guitar amp simulator, a single and dual channel equalizer, a unique MIDI controllable gain suite, as well as professional spectrum analyzer. Actually, what interests me the most and what I think is really cool out of this, I mean, obviously those modulation plugins are great too, your equalizers and that sort of thing, but I'm really interested in the spectrum analyzer. I just downloaded this, I haven't played with it yet, but I love spectrum analyzers, especially on your master track. Really good to see where your frequencies are going and how to get more out of your track. So all plugins are available for Mac and PC and VST, VST3, AAX and audio units in format for both 32 and 64-bit architectures, depending on what PC you're running. This will basically run on everything. And so yeah, 7 products for free. It's a full bundle. I just downloaded the Mac VST3 version, but you can see here if you're looking on the YouTubes, you've got the Blue Cat Audio's chorus. You can see the flanger there. There's the free amps. There's the spectrum analyzer, frequency analyzer, the gain suite, and the phaser, and then a little EQ, which looks pretty cool. Actually looks really, really cool. So check that out. I thought that was good. Good little mention here in the podcast. Next one comes here to us from Audified. I don't know why in the past I've said Audifield or Audio Field. Maybe I thought it was that. But anyway, Audified, they're not a stranger. They're not a stranger to the podcast. And they've just announced the release of Linda Iron Verb. So building upon the creative mind of Martin Linda, hence the name Linda Iron Verb, musician, programmer, mixer, and mastering engineer, just in case you don't know who he was. We decided to collaborate on another product. Not me, an expanded portfolio of Audified wings. Previously, they brought out Linda Rock Stack, a unique amp designed for the special needs of modern day guitarists. And now they're bringing you Iron Verb, an algorithmic reverb with a metallic sound character. So Iron Verb is a reverb like no other. It is a classic algorithmic reverb, perfect for all reverb needs, from subtle, short reverbs to huge atmospheric, ethereal, and ambient textures and long decay. The main featured ionized modulation, which adds an iron-like sound to reverb tails featuring 6 different modes, multitude of parameters such as pre-delay feedback and dampening, and you can tweak it for your own desires and needs. The modulation section allows mixing vibrato chorus into the reverb. Its use is anywhere from drums, vocals, and guitars to simulating large spaces such as halls or cathedrals. Let's jump in and have a quick listen to Iron Verb here. Here's a sound sample on drums. So there it's on, and obviously dry. So our next little demo here is guitar. Let's have a listen. There it's on. I'm going to switch over to dry. Great on guitars. I mean, reverb's always pretty much good on guitars. Let's listen to one more little demo, see what we've got here from Iron Verb. Guitar, fuzzy guitar. Alright, we're going to jump over to dry here. Okay, here's dry. That's dry now. That one's a bit harder to hear it on. I do want to listen. Let's listen one more 80s analog synth. That's nice. Lush sort of pad. And here you go, off. On. Wow, that actually makes the sound with it off. Sounded awful, actually. Anyway, so you got 6 different modes. So it features 6 different modes with original algorithms for various reverb colors and vibe, including flutter with parodic, wobbling effects, plate based on classic vintage plates used in recording studios, slapback with a slower attack, which results in slapback echo-like sounds, dense with its narrow space and high density resulting in sharp sound, steel simulating steel, barrel steel 2 bringing a different vibe to the steel barrel sound, and with a slower attack. You got pre-delay and feedback control options, unique ionized modulation. So Ionize is the very feature that makes Verb special. So this is the part that makes it unique, because, you know, we can talk about reverb plugins, we can talk about equalizers. We want to know what's the difference when I talk about these different instruments. And this being new, it's got to have a unique and new feature. So basically, Ionize adds a smooth or glossy iron-like character to the sound, making it perfect for pad sounds. So we heard in that last example, it was like an analog 80s pad sound, and it sounded incredible. And with it off, it just sounded like something. Didn't even sound like the same instrument, to be real. So for atmospheric sounds and ambient soundscapes, this is perfect. The knob controls the amount of ionized modulation, which means you can add subtle ionized sounds for traditional reverb sounds and give them a unique sound. Basically, big and wide. It has a big and wide option using size to control the width. It's got dampening and resonance, high pass filter, which is good to have, wet and dry, of course, and your modulation section. All very good indeed, and Audified are pretty good with their prices. Not an expensive plugin, $49 USD. It's got an introductory price, being that it's new. It will pump back up to $99 after it's out of its intro price. But I thought that was a cool little plugin to check out, especially if you are looking for a new inspirational reverb. Our next piece of news is not a music technology piece of news. Now, this is actually about an artist. We barely talk about artists that much on the podcast, although I wouldn't mind doing a bit more in 2022. But this certain person has been on the podcast before, for better or for worse. I don't know if it was last year or the year before, season 1 or season 2, where we spoke about Kanye West is the name that we're or the artist, sorry, we're going to be talking about right now. And he released that, I think it wasn't an MP3 player, it was like a high audiophile style WAV player, but it was actually a really cool concept. I've forgotten what it's called now, but you could actually break down his last album in terms of, you could remix on the fly, more or less. Anyway, I digress. Kanye West's documentary that's over 21 years in the making is landing soon here on Netflix. Sorry, not here. On Emlyn in the Mix, actually, no. And there's a new trailer that just came out on Netflix with the Kanye documentary. Could be interesting for those of you who are a fan, or, you know, you want to see the struggle. The thing I guess I like about Kanye West is, you know, he had a vision and he pushed his vision through to success, and that's inspirational. Yeah, sure, there are the weird sort of things on the side as well, and if you look past that and just see the actual success that man created, it's quite impressive. And I think that's why it's worthy of a little mention here on the podcast. These sort of things, obviously, you know, you either love or you hate a certain personality. And I understand people's viewpoints on certain people, you know, like you've got your Donald Trumps, and, you know, you either love or you hate him. And I think Kanye West almost falls into that category of, you either love or you hate him. But you got to admire, when someone is successful, you got to admire how they did it. And you can't deny, you know, when someone makes it, you can't deny that they did that. Not necessarily on their own, but they definitely pushed that into fruition. So anyway, the documentary is directed by music video director Clarence Cody Simons and Chiki Oza, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, better known as Cody and Chika of Erykah Badu and Lupe Fiasco fame. And it features never seen before footage documenting West's successful 20-year career shot by Simmons himself, and first met and became fascinated with West and Jermaine Dupri's birthday party in 1998. Anyway, I have a little trailer here. Let's have a quick look. This may be of interest for you. It may not, but let's check it out.
And also, I got Cootie on the camera. Round Fest right there. Me and Fest got to an argument in the car. Y'all felt like he disrespected me, man. Tried to say I wasn't a genius.
The young Kanye West.
Who was you to call yourself a genius?
They doing a documentary on me right here.
Oh,
Very rarely do you encounter self-contained people. This man can do everything himself. He living it.
So it's like God saying, I'm about to hand you the world. Just know at any given time, I can take it away from you.
Anyway, there it is there, the Kanye West documentary coming to Netflix, and it's going to be a trilogy. It looks pretty inspirational, pretty interesting. I mean, the artists that he got around and the people that he knew, massive names, Jay-Z, of course, Kid Cudi, all these huge names in that scene and industry, and Kanye West was basically rubbing with the best of them. And you're going to see it in this trilogy that's coming out on Netflix. I thought it was interesting. If you like a bit of music inspiration, definitely check that out. All right, let's get back to the music technology news. This one is a new one that's just got announced and released this last week. I can't believe we're at the start of January 2022, and I literally thought the podcast, like the first few weeks, were going to be really quiet and relaxing, and I thought I could chill with you guys and maybe talk about some hardware. But no, the news is just getting slammed down my throat, and I have to get through a lot of this today. And literally, as I said, I culled it and watered it down as much as I could. Anyway, Triaz. What is Triaz? Do I say Triaz or Triaz? Who knows? I'm going to say Triaz. Is that okay? Triaz? Let's do Triaz, yeah. Imagine having instant access to the greatest library of drums ever created, being able to intuitively layer sounds in a new, truly unparalleled way, having a beyond visionary way of sequencing beats. How about instantly generating new ideas or being able to create drums equal to the best records in the world out of the box? Introducing Triaz, next level drums. Well, why don't you be the judge? This is not really a demo. That's more of a look, man. We don't want trailers on this point. In 2022, we got to drop trailers unless they're speaking to the podcasters and YouTubers alike. I'm not going to play this trailer, but we do down here. We've got some presets, so we want to play those back. Let's read a little bit more here. So what makes Triaz a special plugin? Okay, so Triaz is a forward-thinking drum machine driven by a diverse and creative library of all new modern electronic and acoustic drum sound, percussions, sound design tools, comprising over 10,000 samples and 600 plus instantly playable presets, created using an extraordinary array of drum machines, acoustic drums and percussions, modular synths, found sounds, studio tools, Foley and more. So Triaz delivers a powerful 3-layer drum engine with a compelling interface and creative use workflow. Polyrhythmic organic drum sequences allows you to create beats with real swing and groove that never repeats the same way. And extensive sound design parameters, linkable or per layer, are both powerful and streamlined for lightning fast workflow. Tag-based dynamic sample browsing, drag and drop sample import, creative kit randomization, and a powerful effects system provide an unmatched workflow for modern drum production. All right, so here we have some presets. Now that you got that garble in your eardrums, I hope that all made sense, what I just read back to you from the website here at wavealchemy.co.uk. British company indeed, Triaz. Let's have a quick listen to Triaz, some presets. I'm not going to listen to all of this, but here we go. Techno Golf. All right, next preset. 56K. That's cool. Got a bit of white noise in it. Alright, here's our next preset, Mark of Significance. They do have good sound, very good sound. Alright, let's do one more. Last one, here we go. That's cool. We can see the mixer section if you're watching on YouTube. Yeah, I like that. Now, what they say is you can do layering as well with this. I'm just going to set the presets playback there. But you can do layering. I haven't seen quite how you do that yet with Triaz and what makes that, different from other drum machine plug-in engines. Now, Triaz's sound engine combines beautifully designed electronic drums and acoustic instruments in a groundbreaking new way. And they're saying here on the website it was a labor of love with a profound level of detail made by producers for producers. Now, this includes sound libraries in undoubtedly the best collection of drums to date, spanning 3 years and thousands of hours of sound design, combining modern electronic drums, creative sound design, found sounds and Foley, design acoustic drums, the rarest drum machines, grittiest modular synths, live percussion and ethnic drums, mallets and sticks, epic cinematic percussion, and much, much more. So basically they're saying they recorded a bunch of drums, and they're saying it's an instant cheat code for modern drums. So something like this does appeal to me, because when it comes to producing drums, full disclosure, I suck. I suck at producing drums. That's why I need instruments like this, and definitely Triaz is something I'd like to check out. Definitely like drum machine sequences. Especially when they're flexible and you can change the timing of each thing, and it looks like Triaz does that, which is really cool. So the sequencer has a randomizer and loop with Triaz expressive polyrhythmic synthesizer. Each voice can be sequenced independently with its own playback rate and step length, providing all the tools you need to create modern drum patterns with ease. And each step goes beyond standard velocity sequencing, including note repeats, stutter, probabilistic chance. See? Probabilistic chance. There's a word you haven't heard before, but it more or less just means randomization of the sequence, right? Global randomization can instantly be introduced into the sequence's groove to humanize your drums. See, you want a bit of that humanization, not too computery. So reimagine everything from full-length drum patterns, short loops and drum fills to non-traditional time signatures, complex, evolving polyrhythmic and impressive organic beats. Go off and back on the grid with ease and export as MIDI to your DAW when you're done. This is what I want to see. So if this has sequencing such as what they're saying there, that's what you want to see. Now, it also has a bunch of effects and so forth like that. This next video, no, we're not going to play that back there. But anyway, check out Triaz. You can see it sounds good. What was interesting to me is that it's actually works inside Native Instruments Contact Player, but that doesn't matter. The Contact Player is beautiful, and this sounds like, from what we hear from those presets, sounds really good. I don't know if there's a trial version of this. I don't think. Oh, there is. There's a free demo. So you can check out the free demo. It's not a cheap plugin, but given that it's probably got a bunch of samples, and we can actually, there's a few more presets we can have a listen. Let's do one more. What's Cry Funk? That sounds kind of cool. Cry Funk. Oh, so it's a track using Triaz. So we're gonna hit some Triaz action. There you go. That sounds good. Ah, they sound good as. Very dusty sounding drums. Yeah, so what you're paying for there is yes, it's not a cheap plugin, £119, £120, which is probably 150 USD. No, yes, 150 USD and probably like 200 Australian. Anyway, the Triaz has dope as sounding samples, as we've just heard. The sample playback presets, and in that track there sounded, that was really good. Whatever that preset they're using there, really nice, funky, dusty sounding drums. That's Triaz. Check it out. Waves, Alchemy, if you like it. It's a free demo. All right, this next piece of news. This is a nice piece of news, actually. This is something nice. We're seeing one of the conglomerates of music technology and music gear companies actually doing something cool and giving back. Now, if you've been affected by someone with breast cancer, or you've been infected by someone with cancer, this is a nice homage to actually do something about that. And Roland are actually, with their V-Moda, their top of the range headphones are actually doing a special edition for this special cause. And I believe that 30% of the sales, this only goes through to March 31, 2022. So if maybe you want to buy these headphones for someone or you want to get them for yourself, 30% of the sales price of each of the limited edition V-Moda's Crossfade 2 wireless codecs headphones will be donated to the Susan G Foundation, which is a breast cancer research foundation, one of the largest in the world actually, but going to a fantastic cause, and I thought it was a worthy mention here. You can read all about it, V-Moda, if you jump over to the Roland website. But there is that special edition if you want to buy one for yourself, support the cause, or you want to get for a loved one or friends. The top of the range, these headphones are coming up as top of the range in the studio, some of the best headphones in their class. You see like a lot of the, you know, top musician producers using these headphones these days. They're definitely a closed back noise cancellation. I've read a few reviews on them, and you know, I have my preference. I've still got wired here. I'm old school, but these are wireless. You want that wireless, you want to look cool, check out V-Moda by Roland. Next piece of news, also a Roland piece of news. So Roland announcing their brand new Aerophone. Look, we cater to everyone on this channel. We cater to guitarists. We cater to drummers. We cater to synth players. We cater to every freaking body on this podcast. And the Aerophone AE20 wind controllers, they're brand new, you know, flute virtual control. I don't know what you call these things. Anyway, Roland has announced the Aerophone AE20, the latest member of the company's family of digital wind instruments, not a flute. I don't know what I was saying. Here's what they say. You want to hear what they say? So Aerophone AE20 delivers all the playability and expression of the flagship Aerophone Pro in a more compact and streamlined design, offering a rich musical experience with premium detail and Roland's most advanced sound engines. And this inspiring instrument brings next level power and versatility to wind players everywhere. Developed in collaboration with leading wind synth artists, Aerophone AE20 is a top flight instrument with uncompromising musical response, and it features the core sounds and expressive control of Aerophone Pro, along with the premier model's acclaimed key touch, refined playability, and go everywhere design. Aerophone Pro being their, you know, flagship digital wind instrument. Now, Aerophone AE20 provides a wide range of stunningly authentic acoustic instrument sounds at the touch of a button. So you can do soprano, alto, tenor, and baritone saxes, all in hand, plus clarinet, flute. You can do flute, see? Trumpet, and more. All from this one controller. This is really cool. Violin, cello, and other string instruments are also included, along with world instruments like, I don't even know, what is that? Okay, so this is a world instrument, so I'm excused for not pronouncing these. Erhu, and another one, shakuhachi, and I know bagpipes, come on. Scottish, yeah, Scotty, no, I'm not going to even try that. Backed by Roland's supernatural technology. If you don't know what the supernatural technology from Roland is, you need to check that out. There's some really high-tech sounding, some really good sounding synthesized engine going on there with the supernatural. So every playing nuance is fully translated with lifelike dynamic articulations and overtones. And this comes to us thanks to KVR Audio. Also, I need to mention that the Kanye West story came to us from the Music Tech website. Thank you to those two websites for allowing me to check out this excellent news. If you want to find out more great music technology, or you want to read music technology, head over to those websites. If you want to hear about music gear and music technology, you come to the Emlyn in the Mix podcast. Anyway, I thought that was cool. Roland announcing the Aerophone AE20 controller, this brand new update. And yeah, if you want to, you know, if you're a wind instrument player, this is for you. Definitely. As I said, we cover everyone here. Next one goes to our DJ friends. This is huge news. Pioneer, definitely no stranger to the podcast, releasing product after product. Almost seems like a weekly basis, but it isn't. But they release a lot of products. They must have a huge R&D department, and they just cater to the needs and the wants of the everyday, not only just DJ, but musicians and producers. Now, this is our last piece of news for today, but this is pretty exciting if you're a DJ, and like me, this sort of stuff excites me. I'm a DJ, of course. At heart, I love DJing. Anyway, they've just released 2 controllers. Unfortunately for me, though, I don't use Serato. This is aimed at Serato DJ players. So the DDJ-Rev7, and we've got also the DDJ-Rev1. I'll talk about the differences. Rev1 being a watered down version. Let's talk about the Rev7 though. This is the Pro, the Big Daddy. So the DDJ-Rev7 is built to help you get the most from the Serato DJ performance software, and boasts a brand new design that includes large motorized jog wheels with on-jog display to create a tactile connection between you and your music. And the layout of this 2-channel unit emulates a professional DJM-S mixer and PLX turntable setup, and includes specialized features for open format and scratch DJs. Now, being that it's Serato, DJ Pro, this is really going more towards your scratch DJs. If this is something, if you are scratch DJs, definitely going to be of interest. But if this is something maybe you've been thinking about getting into, this controller could definitely be for you. Just having a look at some pictures here on YouTube, it looks absolutely stunning. Has the pitch controllers are at the top horizontally, which is very different to traditional turntable going at the top. And then they've also put the sample back buttons, or the little MIDI control buttons, on the actual mixing desk. Now it is only 2-channel. Both of these controllers are only 2-channel, and they've got all your ins and outs and so forth. We'll play back a little bit of a, I know I said I wasn't going to play back trailers, but this will have some music and it'll have some scratching. So let's have a listen to what you could do with this controller. It's made for Serato DJ Pro players. Very portable. Here we go, some scratching. Very cool. Oh, what? Oh, you can change the discs out on the controller. If you're watching on YouTube, I don't know what he was just doing there. That was cool. Yeah, it looks dope. I'm not going to play the whole trailer back, but you get the idea, because for those guys listening on the podcast, I can't really see what's going on, but you get the idea. It's a scratch controller, and it is designed for Serato, but you can see from that, if you're watching on the video, I don't know what he did there. He took something off the platter, like they got like a little fake sort of, looks like a little record, more or less. And he took it off and then replaced it with something. So I'm not sure what that is. I'm sure maybe we'll learn about that now when I'm reading through here. Yeah, here we go. So it's got a vinylized jog. So if you were watching, if you're listening to the podcast, you can head over to Emlyn in the mix on YouTube. I'll have this video uploaded later. You can check that out if you're interested in what that is. I'm going to time code today's podcast too. For those of you who come to the podcast and you feel like I'm clickbaiting you with the thumbnail, I'm not. It's just we have a few stories that we're going to get through, and I put the best in the title and that sort of thing. But anyway, you got this vinylized jog, customized feeling. So the acrylic top plate is finished with a vinyl-like texture, which definitely looks like a real vinyl. More or less, it's using the same texture, right? So for effortless finger grip, you can choose between low and high torque settings and use the 2 slip sheets included inside each deck to find your preferred amount of friction. Okay, that's what it was. So he's putting extra slip in there to get the certain amount of friction that you might like. If you're a scratch DJ, there might be a certain way you like to, do that. I'm not a scratch DJ. I'm going to be real with you guys. Not that I'm not into it. I love it. It's difficult. I've tried to do the scratch DJing thing. I think it's so cool, but you really need to have good rhythm. And I have okay rhythm, but you really got to have, your rhythm has to be tight if you're going to do scratch DJing, because it's very easy to get it out of time and juggling and that sort of thing. But you know what I love about scratch DJing and the whole art form of scratching? The thing I love the most is that somehow 20, 30 years later, this art form is still alive and it's very fresh and thriving. I mean, the fact that Pioneer DJ are releasing right now, this week, 2022, a brand new controller dedicated to scratching is a testament that this art form isn't going anywhere, and in fact it is thriving. As I say, there are lots of young DJs I've seen even on Instagram, like 14-year-old, these two 14-year-old girls, and they're scratching together like they're somehow, they must be sisters or something, and they're just like totally beat juggling and fantastic rhythm. It is an amazing art form. You could classify almost up there with drumming. It is an amazing art form. You need to be very talented to do it, but anyone can do it. You just have to do it. You know what I mean? Like, you just have to get in there and practice and get good at it. And something maybe I can do in my old man age. Maybe I can learn to become a king scratch DJ. Anyway, that's what that thing was in the video. And this looks really cool and really fun. It's really fun playing scratching, you know, and you're not wrecking your mum's vinyl anymore. I don't think anyone has a mum with vinyl these days, but you know, when I was a kid, my parents had vinyl, and yeah, I scratched some of their vinyl. I feel terrible about that now, knowing that some of that vinyl is very rare indeed. Maybe it was only one record player. I just wanted to see how it sounded, and we had a terrible turntable. Like, our turntable was this piece of crap. Anyway, it's portable. It's got built-in effects. What is the difference though? So you got this really pro sort of version, the Rev7. Oh man, Pioneer's just killing it. 2021, they killed it. It looks like they're going to kill it again. They're just lined up for an amazing year. I love Pioneer DJ, but I really wish they would cater a bit more to the tractor users. I'm more of a Native Instruments tractor user myself. And again, I'm not a scratch DJ. I guess that's why they've gone with Serato Pro, because it's the scratch DJ's heaven, you know. Let's jump over to DDJ-Rev1. So first thing off the bat I can see from the controller is that you don't have color coding. It's all a sort of two-tone color affair, sort of yellow thing. We're not going to play the trailer back there. Still got the battle style layout. You got bigger jog wheels. Looks like you got the vinyl sort of thing on there. You got lock-on, level, traction, scratch. You can't change out. So you can't change out the vinyl like we saw in the Rev7. You got mixed microphone audio, easily add your voice while you're streaming. So this is more, I guess, your streamer rather than your pro. I mean, you could use this as a pro. I can't see why not. Look, it's just more of, yeah, and you way less inputs. If we have a look at the inputs here, we jump back over to the Rev7. This thing's just designed for the club. Look at that. You got your curve, you got feeling adjust down here, curve adjust. You got inputs and outputs plethora on the Rev7. Jump into Rev1. You literally, it's a small time controller in comparison, but it is the controller that may be more affordable for you if you can't quite afford the Rev7. It's one thing you gotta give credit where credit is due, and Pioneer DJ does well as well. Not only are they killing it with their product releases, their R&D department must be filled to the brim with ideas, but the thing I do like about, and this is what Pioneer DJ does the best, and they do it every time, is when they do a new release, they do your pro version, and then they do your cut down version for someone who quite isn't in a position or doesn't necessarily need every feature that the club needs. And I think that's really cool, because you might not need all of that inputs and outputs and you know, that the Rev7 has, and maybe you don't need that little color thing in the middle of the jog wheel to see where your track's at, and you just need simplicity, and you're going to use your laptop anyway. You're going to look at your laptop screen. That's where the Rev1 comes in. Again, this is aimed at Serato Pro users, so sadly for me, it's probably not going to be something I would get, but I just have to, you know, tell you guys about these products that are coming out at the start of 2022. Like, I think we're in for a bumper of a year in terms of news and gear, and it's super exciting. I love doing this podcast for you guys. Anyway, I'm gonna have to leave it there. I hope it was an interesting podcast today. A lot to get through indeed. If you enjoyed the podcast or you enjoyed the video, you watched it there on YouTube, please leave a like and comment in the description down below. Comment if you want to ask me a question. You can also reach out to me. We do have an email set up. It's emlyninthemix@gmail.com. Feel free to reach out to me, especially if you're a software dev or you're just a listener and you want me to check something out. I'm happy and will check and read all of my emails. Crazy stuff happening on the back end of this podcast. Crazy stuff, which I cannot even talk about. Super mind-blowing technology that I just found out about this morning, and I can't talk about it yet, and I don't know when I can talk about it, but I've joined the beta program to try out this brand new piece of software, which is mind-boggling. I cannot wait to tell you guys about it. But that will have to be in a future episode. Looking at doing more interviews this year. I know I've said that. We are looking at doing more interviews, which is exciting indeed. If you're enjoying everything, again, you can hit the support link down below if you want to support the channel. Appreciate any feedback, support, anything you can do. Share the love. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. And that's it for the podcast. Till next time. Peace out. Boom.